Yeah, our show is based on a show from Norway. Although Tyler and I didn't originally want to watch the episode. We actually really wanted to see it, but we didn't want to see it before we started shooting our version, because our version is very much a reimagining of the original. But the original is such a beautiful story as well, and I know that our story kind of goes a different direction, sort of midway, halfway through, towards the end. But it starts out very, very similar with the boys in the cabin. And so Tyler and I's audition scenes when we were doing chemistry reads with each other before we booked the parts were scenes that were in that first original episode, essentially the same main scenes of us at the quarry and us at in the cabin, like I said. So there are similarities, but they're different enough to where you could watch both of them and love both of them in different ways. Yes, yeah, it was critical, and Tyler is como mi hermano, mi amigo mejor. We met during chemistry reads with Catherine Hardwicke, the director, and Tyler was already cast, and Tyler had to read with all these different people for the role of Lukas, and I was the last one to come in and read with him. And it was funny. I'll just tell a little story about that. We read at Catherine Hardwicke's house for the chemistry reads, and I was the last one to go in there, and I was outside, and it was really hot, and they were really late, and I had to sit in the sun for like 2 hours. So Tyler later told me that when I came in that I was all sweaty and that I smelled a little, and he was like, oh, I gotta kiss this guy, and but our chemistry was immediately there from the start, and we had to, working with him was very important with the show, because the show centralizes on this love story between the two boys, and we had to go to some very intense, emotional, and vulnerable places in front of each other, and you need to be able to trust the other actor in terms of doing that. And Tyler, there's not a better person that could have played his role. I can't say enough. He's such a good actor, and one of my best friends. Yes, absolutely. Lukas's character is very much a representation of what a lot of people in the LGBT community have gone through, being violently closeted and very afraid of coming out and to their families and their friends and wherever they live in the world. I've already had people online, because the show's already been out in America for 2 weeks, reaching out and say that they relate to my character's struggle the most, because it's very hard sometimes, just depending on where you're raised, to learn how to love yourself, and I think that's what the show is really trying to teach as well. And you don't want to keep secrets, especially when you see a murder. Don't keep that a secret, even if you're gay. I think a lot of the times the only way people are educated about the LGBTQ community is through media and shows, and so I very much hope that this Lukas's story will affect those in a positive way. Absolutely. No, I think it's much better the way that it's a Who Saw It, because you've never seen a show where you know who the killer is, and you get frustrated watching that he is in charge of his own investigation. And Julianne Nicholson's character, Helen Torrance, has no idea that she's literally trying to find the guy that she has to work with. And that's very interesting for audiences to see, because that allows you to delve into the relationships between the characters more. And it's not a traditional, stereotypical crime procedural, essentially, It's so it actually is very smart, in way to approach the show. That's an honor. I mean, that's like one of the greatest films ever made. So that's a film. I did a lot of research about my, kids that go through what my character has gone through. I had a friend who went through a very similar parallel story where he was in a relationship with the captain of his high school football team. It was a secret relationship, and of course they didn't see a murder, but they had but back to Brokeback Mountain, that was one of the things I did research on. I watched the movie again 3 times, because I relate my character a lot to Heath Ledger's character in a lot of ways, a young Heath Ledger, and he's one of my favorite actors. But that movie's brilliant, because that movie changed a lot of people's opinions on what love is and what forms love comes in. It comes in all forms, and it doesn't, You know, even a lot of people that would have had religious conflicts with the homosexual aspect of the show, the gay sexual orientation. That movie changed a lot of people's minds, and at least got them to question their own prejudices. And if our show can just make people, if people see our show and they change the channel immediately because of the subject matter with the two boys, but still they question their own prejudice inside, then I think we're succeeding. I would absolutely love to be in it, especially if it was with all the same actors and some of the same directors, like Scott Peters, Catherine, if she could come back. All the producers, the network is fantastic. So that's a yes on the first part of that question. I would love to come back. And yeah, I would love to do, you know, Evan Peters is another actor in American Horror Story. He gets to play a different character like every season. And so I would just want to play a character that was totally different than this one, and I'd like to play the bad guy. So, you know, we'll see. Yeah, maybe the murderer this time, if there is one. Well, I don't know. We don't have the scripts yet.